Welcome to the final Golden Bachelor recap with Jamie and Stephanie of the Ugly Truth podcast. It's your golden hour. We have so many thoughts.
Right? I remember I was reminded when I was watching the very last scene, well, not the very last scene, but towards the end.
Yes.
How when I first brought you the idea of watching the show, how I was like, yeah, it's the show called The Golden Rose. And I kept calling it The Golden Rose because I didn't know.
That's right. We did call it that
and
at first.
He did give her a golden rose.
He did. And you know, this is a spoiler show. Obviously, it's been about a week now since but Teresa ultimately won.
Teresa Nist.
I would like to say that I saw it coming.
Oh, for sure.
A long time ago.
We called it. Yep.
The date one, when she put her hand on his shoulder.
That was really sweet.
His face completely changed. And I'm like, it might have been curtains then. However,
I didn't think she was pretty enough. That's what's really sad about me.
That's okay. This is a reality show. We can do whatever. We can say whatever we want.
I initially was like, no way, she's not pretty enough. You know, he was really good looking, and I just didn't think she was going to be enough. You know,
and I think we even discussed in later episodes that, you know, they cleaned him up real good. They gave him a spray tan. They gave him a $200 haircut. They put him in Tom Ford, and he looked amazing.
He did look amazing.
But let's be real. That's not who he is.
No.
In real life. So although he isn't a handsome man.
Yeah.
He's no more handsome than she is beautiful.
No. Well,
she's prettier than she looks on TV.
Yes, she is. Very much. And some of the looks they gave her, they didn't do her
justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
They could have done better style-wise.
In fact, and I know we're kind of bouncing around, but after their overnight, and she's walking him out of the fantasy suite, she's wearing this almost, it's not a onesie, but it was like a one-piece shorts and
like a romper,
but it was kind of form-fitting. I'm like, that looks like Jackie O. Like she looked so timeless,
and she was 70.
Stunning woman,
right?
Stunning woman.
Yeah. I just, you know, the funny thing is when he was describing, I think it was when he was talking to Leslie and telling her, she's like, what went wrong?
Right.
And he's like, it's not that anything went wrong. It's just that all of a sudden things just started clicking in place with Teresa.
Yes.
And I felt the same way.
I agree. Well, so first of all, we all understand that this show is, heavily edited.
Right.
Heavily edited.
For sure. Yeah.
So if we take this show at face value, like a lot of women over 60 are doing, for some reason, they just believe that what they see is what it was.
They are so angry.
It's fine. That's what ABC wants. They want you to believe every frame was exactly as recorded.
Ladies, this is what is so irritating to me. You are the exact stereotype of why women your age stay single.
It's very
You're
difficult.
so angry.
It's so hard.
And jealous of other people.
And here's the thing. I mean, I know that you are not a watcher of the Bachelor series.
Well, I am now.
Well, this one. But I mean,
now I am going to be I'm invested. So now I got to watch the next one.
Right. So generally speaking, as the Bachelor or Bachelorette, generally it's the Bachelor. When the Bachelor starts whittling down to the top 5, top 3, top 2, fans start getting angry because their favorite wasn't chosen.
Right.
And they're furious. They're like, I don't understand. She's perfect for you, you asshole. Like, it's really, they get really mad.
Okay.
And so they go, she dodged a bullet. she can do better than this guy. You know, he's just a dumb old man or, whatever.
Right.
And so that is very common.
Well, they're all accusing Gary of being, first of all,
stop calling him a narcissist, okay? He's not a narcissist.
Oh my God. Okay, I hadn't seen that comment, but I believe it. I saw a bunch of people saying he was a gold digger because she's rich, and the minute he found out she had money and she was successful, he was like, oh. And I'm like, okay, people.
First of all, I saw her house. She's not a millionaire. She's
successful.
She's fine. She's taking care of herself.
So is he, by the way.
He retired at 55 or something.
He's
like,
got
that
money.
is so young in America to retire and own a lake house, by the way.
I'm like, he's got 6. And by the way, we're talking these people, and they know it. They will be lucky if they have 15 years left on this planet.
Accurate.
They're not sitting there
These
going,
aren't 30-year-olds.
yes, I have my whole life to be rich now. They have, their life is almost over.
They're dipping into their Social Security.
Yes. It have been.
Yeah. So
Sorry, you get Social Security at 62.
Exactly.
They got it 10 years ago.
So Leslie, you got something to look forward to.
Right.
Anyway, so let's retrace a bit. So the last couple of episodes we were whittling it down.
Oh, right.
So
I forgot we haven't recorded.
We haven't really. So we discussed, I don't know if we discussed the live with Faith having her moment on the couch with Gary.
I don't think. Yes, we did, because she was sobbing uncontrollably. And
it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
and so
it was
then
terrible.
we come back to Costa Rica. It's time for the fantasy suites.
Yes.
Now, what I always said was, if Gary slept with Leslie, he would choose Teresa.
Really?
I said that on the show. Mark my words.
What?
Because
he needed to scratch that itch.
That's what you said.
Yeah, I think I did.
The thing is that he was absolutely sexually attracted to Leslie. She's 10 years, 9 or 8 years younger than him.
Younger.
She's 60 years old. She's vibrant. She's beautiful.
She's a fitness instructor.
Yes.
She has a gorgeous body for her
does.
age. Yeah.
And so understandably, he's like, well, I'm very attracted. But here's the thing that I noticed, and I had that epiphany this morning. Faith and Leslie have a lot in common. They want to be rescued. They're looking for someone to take care of them, let them live their life, let them be a grandma and a mom, and then have a partner.
Right.
Gary thought he wanted that. I really believe he thought that felt good to him, to be this provider, to be this caretaker.
Rescuer, yeah.
But he's not a caretaker.
I don't think so.
At all.
Well, most men aren't.
Not really.
No.
Not to the way that Leslie and Faith were looking for. I mean, I'm sure he's fine with a partner. I mean, he was married for 100 years before he, was widowed. So I'm sure he's fine and understands the partnership. But he was really clear that he was looking for a partner. And he said it over and over again.
He definitely was.
And I don't think that Leslie heard him.
I think
Faith did.
I think she was blinded by the romance and the idea of the life that she thought they were going to have together. I don't think she was being logical.
I think Faith forgot where she was.
Yeah.
This is a show. And the other thing, and I don't know if you knew this, I found this out earlier this week. From day one until the finale, 4 weeks.
Oh, geez.
4 weeks.
So they had to fall in love in a month?
And then it really puts a lot of things in perspective. Like these women saying, I'm falling in love with you. I'm in love with you.
After like a week or two?
I'm like, how quickly this went through. Now, they did live in a bubble. So when you're in a bubble, I mean, I don't know about you, but if you've ever gone away for the weekend with a guy you think you like, an extended 4-day weekend, a lot of feelings can happen in 4 days.
Definitely.
No doubt. Especially if there's any kind of spark.
It does.
So I don't think that they weren't falling head over heels.
Yeah.
But I think they were also pushing them, going, look, if you're having any kind of feelings, you have to verbalize it.
Well, it's concentrated, basically.
Because this is a show.
Yeah,
so
it's like
you can't filter yourself. You have to just say everything.
Right.
And
it feels weird, but...
It does feel weird. And you can tell these women were like, I mean, it wasn't probably natural.
Oh, no.
I mean, these are seasoned women. They know how this goes. They're not... in fact, there's a scene when it's the live finale, quote unquote live finale, and all the women from the show are in the audience.
Yeah, I kind of liked that.
I liked it too.
I thought it was cute.
So Joan is,
especially when they had the camera on them as they're watching, right, and they're reacting. It was very funny.
Joan is front and center, and she's got, I don't know who on one side, maybe Susan.
It was all the main people we loved.
And then not Ellen.
Yeah. So it was Ellen, it was Joan, and then Faith.
Faith.
She was up there, and then I think the little short one that's going to be on the new Bachelor as like a mentor.
Yes.
What's her name? I can't remember, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. So Joan is sitting.
Chicken lady.
April.
Yes.
So Joan is sitting. And she goes and she puts her hands dramatically on the ladies next to her, puts her hands on their legs because Leslie is pontificating, right? She's monologuing. And so Joan touches them. Ellen has her arms crossed and she rolls her eyes
like she's angry
and begrudgingly grabs Joan's hand. And she's like, I'm so over this. I've known you for 3 weeks. I am not your sister. I am not your best friend.
Right. Stop.
Stop.
Right.
Please stop it.
We're doing this all for the camera now.
I'm being required to be here. I
Right.
don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, I want to go back to my life. Anyway, so yes, so I really believe that Gary wanted to have sex with Leslie. I really think that's all it is.
Well, I think
frankly,
he said, that he was looking to see, he said, I hope things become more clear to me. Like, I hope I get clarity as these nights go on. And I think he did. I think that intimate moments will bring out, if you're a stage 5 clinger, it will become very evident.
Did you notice that, because Leslie got the first fantasy night, did you notice that when they went in there, first of all, she's all about the physical acts. Like, she's like, how long has it been since you've had sex? And he goes, it's really hot in here. What would you like the
said it's been a
thermostat at?
while.
And she goes, 69. And I'm like,
Yeah.
come on.
I know. It was a little immature.
It was
for
a
me.
little excessive
Yeah.
physically. So, but everything's fine. And then the next morning, the vibe is completely different. Did
Between
you know?
them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like really
I wonder if they
apparent.
did it. You think they did?
He said in an interview, I guess he did a radio interview about a week ago, and he said one of the things that he regrets is he was intimate with both women.
Oh, he regrets that?
Yes.
I don't know why.
Well, remember,
Hindsight's 2020 though.
Of
Now that he's
course.
in love with Teresa, and that was
And it's
what
working
was
out,
so.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what was so. To me, I knew the next day because he felt like he had betrayed Teresa.
well, that was what was so
That was
interesting.
what was so obvious.
Is that they
and by the way, ladies, I have to say this. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
If you've ever been cheated on and your man doesn't want to break up and he stays with you,
that's what it looks like.
that's what it looks like.
It's
That is
true.
exactly what it looks like, and that's why we know.
Yes.
So anyway,
So what's funny is the way they edited it, it made it look like he was regretting going on this date with Teresa. But the reality
Right.
is,
they edited it that way, right?
but
Yeah.
the reality is he was feeling like a garbage human
Yeah.
because he essentially knew that he wanted to be with Teresa and he
Felt bad.
scratched that itch.
Yeah.
He let his carnal base
Yeah.
take over.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was really hard it would have been impossible when he had no problem. Nobody was going to judge him for sleeping with Leslie. No one.
And she didn't. And
she did not.
The way that she handled
She even said it. She's like,
Yeah.
look, I know there's another woman. I get it.
Yeah.
I just want you to be happy.
right?
Giving him the opportunity
Well,
to just walk.
And she said the thing that I thought was very prolific. She said, look, I love you and I want to be with you. Like, I'm decided. If you ask me to marry me, I'm going to
I
say
would
yes.
say yes.
But if you don't want to marry me and you don't love me the same way, then I don't want you.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say. And Leslie was not that. She was like forever trying to convince him that she was the one.
Did you find that his children were like, Leslie's a no for us, dog?
I wasn't sure.
She made them
the
cry.
editing was a little-
But I will say this. I think it's because Leslie cries a lot.
yeah.
And I think that she's
She's a broken-hearted person.
Well, I mean, she does have a bad picker. She did say,
does.
and you and I, Stephanie, we called this weeks ago.
telling you.
Weeks ago, I told her, I remember saying she was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
When she was like, oh, no one ever has my back. And I'm like, I mean, the second she had the opportunity, she said that. She goes, you said you had my back. And I'm like, oh, God, it's almost like I wrote the script.
She's like, you said I was your girl.
He did do that.
He did do that.
Yeah,
he did
he
do
did.
that. But I mean, I also
He's not flawless.
no.
No,
No.
I really think he kind of, here's what I think. The one thing that I liked about the ending is this. I appreciated that he decided to tell her
before.
before.
Me too.
So she wasn't going to be humiliated on a platform in a fancy dress and waiting like a fool.
Exactly.
He probably said, yo, I can't do this to this woman. She has forgotten where we are.
Yeah.
And she's taking this
and I'm not going to publicly humiliate her.
she's taken this way too seriously, and
Yeah.
we all need to we
so
need
is that
to stop
usually how
this.
they do it? They have both women there and he picks one in front of them?
The way The Bachelor ends is each woman is on a separate platform alone.
Oh, okay.
And the order is they go to the loser first, and they say, "I've loved our time together. You're very special.
I see.
However, it's not going to be for
Yeah.
us." And then the person's like, "Fuck you!"
And they run
I can
off.
do better, or it's like, "I wish you the best. Bye," or whatever. Whatever
yeah.
the reaction's going to be. And that's the end of it. And then they walk up to the winner and they say, you know, I've loved our time together, blah, blah, blah. Will you, marry me or whatever?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yes.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated the fact that I think the producers and Gary went, yo, this woman, we can't do this to her.
Yeah, I would hope that it was him that decided.
I think it was. I think
too.
he's like, we can't humiliate this woman any more than I already have. I shouldn't have slept with her. She's way too deep, and she's forgotten that we're on TV, and she thinks that we're going to get married.
Yeah.
I got to stop this. And so he went in and he's like, I'm picking Teresa. When he told her, I was like, I think
he said that's the direction. I've fallen in love with Teresa, and I think that's the direction I'm going to go.
I was like so surprised.
Oh,
that
you were?
I was. Well, here's the thing: the way they made it look,
glad.
Same.
Let her ball and do her thing in there.
The way they made it look initially was when she's like, "I love you." He goes, "Oh, that's such a sweet statement." I was like,
"Oh God, I know."
It's curtains.
But here's the thing, and so we've been talking about before we started recording about the social media around Golden Bachelor, which is ridiculous.
The drama.
But people are criticizing the answers he gave her at that moment when he was basically letting her down. And
What was he supposed to say?
Honestly,
it's a breakup. He literally had to break up with this woman.
He did, and
he didn't have to, by the way.
He was very sensitive about it, I thought.
I don't know.
First of all, he didn't make any he didn't say, I love you, but...
And he sat there and let her go.
He did.
And you know what's funny is I was watching going, uh-oh, I see it. His eyes have glossed over, and he's going, I dodged a bullet.
But he's trying really hard to be a gentleman, present,
yes,
and listen to what she was saying, and not just like, God, can we get this over with?
No.
We were all thinking it. I was like, get it over with.
Well, I would have just been like, okay, look, I'm really sorry, but this is a television show, and it's over. You didn't win. I'm sorry. I'm leaving.
Well,
he didn't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a woman he literally had sex with like the night before.
I'm aware, which is why he was being so respectful.
Right.
But it's like, she's like, you embarrassed me. And I did this on national television. I'm like, you know what?
You knew all of that.
You knew. And you're not 20 either.
Right,
like, can we please stop acting like you've never lived a day of your life?
Absolutely.
On Earth?
Right.
Like, come on. It's a guy.
I'm a grandmother.
It's a freaking dude.
Yeah, same.
And you had sex with him. And now
she didn't have to have sex with him.
She did not.
She could have said, you know what? If I'm the one, then we'll do it after.
I mean,
I don't know.
I kind of think I would have done that, to be fair.
Yeah, I might have too. But I mean, I guess it depends.
But I mean, I'd have to really know.
I think Teresa...
Unless he was just hot and I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's true. Take an opportunity.
Well, yeah. But I mean, only if I'd have to be so secure.
I think that what ultimately, and one of the things that Gary said about Teresa, which I thought was really, really sweet.
Yes.
And very true. And it made it very clear to me was he said, look, at some point I realized, I looked at this woman and I thought, she knows how to do a relationship. She did it for 43 years and very successfully. He goes, and she knows how that works.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of crap for that now.
And he's like, I'm a very logical person, and so is she.
Right.
And they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's some people's minds, and they deal with relationships like they kind of deal with business, and it's not a bad thing.
They were the general consensus on that reasoning was, and first of all, it may have played a part, and he was just trying to.
It played a part. It wasn't the only reason.
No, but people are giving, they're like, oh, way to divorce shame, and I'm like, okay,
divorce.
Listen,
oh, shit.
Because she's been divorced twice.
It had nothing to do with that.
And they're like, it wasn't her fault that she doesn't know how to maintain a relationship.
Yes,
I'm like, okay, it wasn't all her fault, but it wasn't not her fault.
Yeah.
I mean, I have several failures,
Honestly,
relationship failures.
You can't.
It doesn't mean anything. What it means is he's trying to be like, look, we're just not meant to be. And I'm sorry that I slept with you and led you on to believe that you were going to win. You're not. And I regret ever doing that, to you, because it was not cool.
Right.
It wasn't cool, you know, but how can he say that eloquently on a Disney show,
right?
And say, yeah, I slept with this girl because I've been wanting to sleep with her for 4 weeks.
Well, I think to be fair, I think that was the ultimate test.
Yes.
Honestly, if you are going to be on a reality show and the end game, the last thing is to propose, and that's what you're going to do.
Yes.
I think you have to do that. I think you really do, because I think, like I said, intimacy is not just about the sex.
No, it is not.
There's a lot. In fact, I think it's the least amount of it is about sex, unless it's just terrible. And then you're like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like Burger with the Post-it.
Oh, yeah.
But they had bad sex. So,
right.
But for the most part, I think most human beings can have enjoyable sex, whether you're in love or you're not in love, depending on the people.
Yeah.
So I think he had to do it. I really think it was part of the deal.
I agree.
I could have gone the other way. He could have been like, you know what, she's fucked up, but she's amazing, and and seeing that side of her has made my mind.
I think that you and I were correct in that Teresa knows her way around a man.
Oh, for sure.
And I think he went, oh my God, this is a pleasant surprise.
Oh, for sure.
And I did appreciate Teresa's vulnerability at one point when she was saying to her kid, she's like, I'm competing against 60-year-old women. I'm 70. I don't know if I have an opportunity to have a relationship with this man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad that he did ultimately decide that she was the
smart one too.
Yeah.
She was smart, and I love smart women.
So let's look at some of the things that people are saying. First of all, the New York Post came out with an article from an ex-girlfriend of his. I don't know if you heard about this.
I did, but I didn't read it, but I did hear about it.
Her pseudonym is Carolyn because she won't even give her real name. She dated Gary for 10 months, moved in with him.
Ooh.
And ultimately, they broke up. She said that he told her he couldn't take her to his high school reunion because she had put on weight and she wasn't taking care of herself.
Oh, yeah. I did read about that.
And so they broke up, and apparently she threw herself down the stairs to try to stay longer.
Holy shit.
She said she accidentally fell down the stairs moving her things. He said, oh no, she was trying to stay. And so
she thought if she injured herself, she could be a cripple on his couch.
It was a cantankerous breakup. It was an ugly breakup. And the fact that she will not use her real name or a photo is telling, for starters.
I mean, I don't necessarily... Okay, people are going to say, what, he's shallow?
Well, they're saying that he's...
vain. And
he's a cheapskate. He's a narcissist and all this other crap. Like, God forbid a woman gain weight, all that crap. Well, I don't know. I saw his wife. His wife was not a model. So I don't think it had anything to do with that. It could have been something completely different.
I mean, maybe she took it as, oh, I gained weight and that's what it is. But maybe he was like, sometimes when a woman gains weight or is otherwise letting her physical self down,
there's other things.
She's mentally letting herself down or emotionally neglecting that too. So maybe it wasn't her body, maybe it was her. Maybe she was falling apart.
Exactly. And that was just one of the things.
And that was one of the things that manifested.
So he responded finally to the article, I think yesterday.
He had to have known this was going to happen, but I'm sure he was like, oh God, here we go.
Well, a lot of people are saying, no publicity is bad publicity. So anything is better than nothing. And that he goes, well, I do find the timing a little odd.
People are going to come out of the woodwork.
He's like, there's
more that are going to come.
He goes, I've chosen not to respond to it because I've been really excited and busy. We're doing like all this PR stuff and press. It's been so fun.
Well, now they're filming the wedding.
In January, yes.
Well, I don't think it's going to be live. Do you?
They say it's live.
I think it'll be live.
January 4th. We'll
see.
Anyway, so he's like, I haven't responded to any of that. He goes, but he's like, I just wanted to focus on positive things. Yeah. He never denied anything. He didn't call her a liar. He just said, I'm aware of it, and I just, I really want to just focus on the positive and focus forward. I just really don't want to.
I'm 72 and I could die tomorrow, and I need to deal with that. The moment that I'm living in right now.
He's like, I could fall and break a hip tomorrow.
Seriously.
You guys.
I
might not even make it to the
You just don't know.
I mean, it's silly. So,
and how exciting for him at his age to be like, God, I'm literally like getting married. I'm starting a new quote-unquote life.
And he's very clear that he loves Teresa. They talk for hours on the phone because they obviously had to stay apart. They had to keep it a secret, yeah. I don't even know when I think they filmed this in August or something, so it's been some months.
Because when they were talking about their engagement and the wedding, he was saying that he was reflecting on everything that had happened at Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Remember? Did you hear him say that?
Yes.
He's like, I was sitting at the Thanksgiving table going, my God, look what happened. If you would have asked me last year at this time, I never would have been like, yeah, I'm getting married.
So it was not that long ago.
So it wasn't that long ago. I think it was weeks from when they filmed the finale.
That makes sense.
Not the finale, not when they were in Costa Rica, but when they were in the
finale.
audience. Yeah. That was after.
I felt like they let Leslie go on too long.
They did.
Like I actually fast forwarded through it because I couldn't watch it anymore.
The audience that we've been talking about, they're
crying. They were crying.
They were crying, and they wanted to hear every goddamn thing she had to fucking say.
And he's just sitting there. You know what? My favorite part, honestly, was when he told her in Costa Rica that she wasn't going to win. and she's just, like, I'm humiliated. I never get chosen.
So everything you ever told me was a lie.
All this other crap. And I'm sitting there going, is she like this in the wild? When people go, hey, 2 dates, the sex was fine, but you know what? This isn't going to work out. She's like, so everything you told me was a lie?
What we shared, that special moment.
That's 15 minutes of ecstasy. It was
I'll let you come in my mouth. Do you know how long it's been since I've let someone do that?
It's been a month. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, so, but when he's sitting there and he goes, I'll see myself out. I was like, well, that's a gentleman for you. I mean, at least he didn't say, I'm out of here.
Yeah, right.
I mean, at least.
Well, I kept waiting. I was like, how is he going to get out of this? Because she could go on forever.
Well, clearly we've
She
seen
could.
she can.
Yeah, and I was afraid that I was like, okay, he did her. He was nice.
allowed her the-
yeah.
yes.
But how long do you sit there and be pummeled?
I don't know.
I mean, I couldn't.
So now the social media world is just up in arms. Gary is the biggest villain since Harvey Weinstein, apparently.
I can't.
And he's a gold digger. He's a narcissist. He's
he's an egomaniac because he was meant for TV and
Yes.
all this stuff. I was like, are you kidding me?
He's a clout chaser. And I'm like,
the
what?
thing I saw about Gary, both in the live finale and the last episode or two, when he is like the most normal dude.
He's just a dude.
And he's so not what people have built him up to be.
No.
Yeah, and like you said, it's all optics, like the way he looks and all that stuff. But
That's
I think
not
at the end of the
real.
day, he's just an old man.
Yeah,
and
or he's older. But I mean, the thing is,
he's
like,
if he didn't look the way he looked and he was in the
saw-
grocery store, you'd be like, aw.
I saw a picture of, well, he's not like decrepit.
No,
Stephanie,
I'm not saying he is, but
but I mean, he's an attractive older man. But
Yes.
what's funny is I saw a selfie that he and Teresa took. I don't know when it was, and he was wearing, a navy blue blazer and a white button-up shirt.
yeah,
With new
he has a flat ass,
Dockers
and
and
Yeah.
topsiders, whatever.
he takes good care of himself. He does exercise a lot. That's a
lot.
big thing for
he's,
him.
He's very fit. But I'm like, the shirt's seen better days. I mean, he's just a guy, he's just living his life. And he just happened to have this amazing opportunity.
Yes.
Because he's not ugly. And he went on and,
yeah,
did what he did. And he met Teresa. And, honestly, to me, it's like, if I was in my 70s and I met somebody who I had a remote
Chance.
I would definitely pursue it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Why not? What the hell do you have to lose?
I'd be like, I'd like to have sex before I die again.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Well, I mean, there's just so many more things.
or have travel,
Yes.
have someone to hang out with.
Just someone to hang out with, someone
Yeah.
who, you know what I mean? One of the things that you get out of a partner when you're married or in a relationship like that, you get a best friend.
Yes.
You get someone to like pal around with
Yeah,
that like
'cause
wants
you know
to do
what?
the same, and they want to be with you as much as you want to be with them.
I mean, and honestly, nobody wants to hang out with their adult kids all the time.
Not all the time.
I know they're lovely and I love my adult kids, but
Yeah.
let's be real.
and honestly, I know women who have no identity other than their children,
Yes.
and they're weird.
a little.
There's a little something weird about them.
Yeah, they need a little more than being a mom.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And we all, before we were mothers, we were people.
I was thinking about that, how we convert ourselves to if you choose motherhood, if you convert yourself to a mother, and all of a sudden your kids try to, they tell you you're not cool and that you're all these things. And I'm like, I'm still cool.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to let my kids be derelicts. So now I have to be the rule maker and the the boring mom or
But
whatever.
That passes.
And then you get to this point, and then you get to the ages of Leslie, Faith, Teresa, Ellen,
Yeah.
Susan, whatever. These are women who are vibrant. And I will say this about the Golden Bachelor, and I don't want this to be lost just because we're talking shit.
Yeah.
When a woman is over 60, some women do feel like they're ignored and they're invisible.
Yeah.
I've been seeing this theme over and over again with the show. We're invisible now.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of a mentality issue.
I mean, maybe.
Because Sharon Stone, I just saw this. Sharon Stone, who's I think in her 60s.
She is.
Gorgeous lady.
Yeah.
And she said, here's the thing about women. She goes, I don't believe that women become invisible when we get older. I walk into a room and men still look at me when I walk into a room because I walked into a room. And it's not because I'm Sharon Stone. It's because I know I'm the shit.
Yeah.
And I walked into a room. and I look good.
Yeah.
Because I look good. I know I look good. I'm healthy. I'm vibrant. I'm a wonderful woman, an amazing
I take care
woman.
of myself.
And I know I feel like an amazing woman.
Yeah.
And she's like, but when I was 20 and I walked into a room, every head would turn because I was 20.
Yeah.
She's like, and now when I walk into a room, those guys aren't even worth my time anyway, so I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, is you just stop caring about men looking at you.
I guess. I feel like for me, one of the things that's been difficult to, transition, I guess, is, and I know this might sound dumb to people because I'm 50, but when you're 20 or 25 or even 30, you get so much attention when, you know what I mean? You do. You get everywhere you go.
Youth is beautiful.
It is. And everywhere you go. And it's longer that you're younger than you're older, right?
I just think,
So when you get older and those things kind of go away and you see men noticing young girls, no matter what their age, older men, younger men, all men notice young women. Then it's kind of like, then you feel like if you're in a bad place self-esteem wise and you need that, then it feels like you have to work harder for it.
Then I think that then people need to, that's inner
for sure.
focus. You know what I mean? Because the reality is that youth does fade. If you're lucky, you don't want to die young. No one.
No, God.
Youth does fade. So the inner work is when that really starts. And, I think a lot of women start to recognize when they get over a certain age, they go, I have not been working on myself at all. And I don't mean physically. I mean mentally, self-esteem, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You have to be really good with yourself when you're older.
Yeah.
And most women are, actually.
Yeah.
And these women who say, well, I'm invisible now, no one looks at me. And I'm like, it shouldn't be about that, though. That's the thing.
I agree.
Is it shouldn't be. And it's okay if you want that. I mean, there was not one ugly woman on this show.
Oh, heck no. They were all
so
beautiful.
I have a hard time believing that these women are invisible in real life. But there are women that don't look like that are over 60 who are absolutely being ignored. But it happens even young women who are.
I guess it just depends on what you value at that age. I mean, I find it ironic.
Relying on physical beauty ain't it.
No. No.
It's just
unless you
not.
have endless money and you can have surgery and all that shit. But even
it's like, you're not ugly, you're just poor.
Yeah, right? But I always say this. I'm like, I find age an ironic thing because when you're young, you have beauty and you have energy and you have all of those things.
And time.
You do. But when you get to a certain age, all of a sudden you have clarity and you have maturity and you have confidence and you have all the things you didn't have when you were young and beautiful.
It is ironic, isn't it?
And yet your body is like, you're like a wilted banana.
What really sucks
spots.
too is that it's really exclusive to the Western world that age is ugly.
Yeah, because if you're Asian, you look like you're 20 when you're 80. It's actually not fair. And African American women never age. They
Stunning
look
women.
exactly the same.
They're so beautiful
when they're 100.
Beautiful ladies.
Yes. So, and a lot of those countries, their ethnicity makes them so youthful. Even
society, though, generally speaking,
white people, we get wrinkled. We look like raisins.
Society tends to dismiss aged women, and I think it's changing personally. I mean, I'd like to say that the women who are our age at the forefront, who are proving that still vibrant, still beautiful, still stunning, those to me are what's changing society's minds. I mean, Jennifer Aniston in the 60s would be a has-been.
Oh, true. She's gorgeous.
J-Lo would be living in New York, walking around all day.
I mean, there was the Joan Crawfords and the
but they couldn't get a movie to save their lives.
That's true.
They were like these retired legends.
Don't fuck with me, boys.
This ain't my first rodeo.
God, she was so good at that movie.
Yeah. So my point is that I think what I love about this show, The Golden Bachelor. Now, these are obviously older women than us. They're boomers essentially.
Yeah, they are.
It's like,
but this show could go on forever.
It certainly could,
or for a long time.
I do like it. I do like that it's opening up the world's eyes to the fact that people are entitled to partnership and how hard it is. And what are the challenges? It's like physical challenges, yes. And also that baggage stays with you till
I know, right?
Like it just, if you were insecure when you were 20, you're still
insecure at 70.
if you don't fix it. If you don't address it.
I agree.
Yeah, it's hard watching people have insecurities and broken hearts at 60, 70 years old.
Yes.
It's weird.
It is weird. And so on that note, I am really excited about The Bachelor moving forward.
Yes.
They did show some of the women,
yes.
one at least. I suspect there will be others that'll be involved in the next Bachelor that's getting ready to air.
Of course, there's always a bleed over.
It starts in January, right?
Yes.
So, and for me, I feel like a virgin because I'm like, I have never watched. And now that I've seen The Golden Bachelor, I'm so excited.
Yeah. It's very different and you will notice a big difference. But if we love it, we can definitely talk about it.
Well, the trailer was, yeah. Well, yeah. The trailer, the dude was crying. I'm like, is this a theme?
No, normally they don't cry. Well,
I'm wondering if they're going to try to make the show take it a little bit more seriously.
I don't know, man. It's real hard because when you're in your 20s and you're a hot stud or you're a gorgeous
and you have
girl,
all these hot girls.
Well, and I mean, the women are on there. Most of them are on there to become famous.
Yeah.
They're not looking for love necessarily.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And I have seen
it's a very different thing.
All of these women, not all of the women.
And the drama is way more elevated.
Oh, I bet, because they're young.
Way more. Yeah, there was no real drama on The Golden Bachelor. First of all, they weren't together long enough. Number one. 4 weeks total.
Why, is that a short period of time for The Bachelor?
That's incredibly short. It's like record short.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't believe that from night one until the season finale was 4 whole weeks. That's nothing.
They were probably worried they might lose one if they had to film any longer.
Hey, look at somebody fell and broke their ankle at one of those dates, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
and if I'm at that age,
they're
I'll be like,
you know
okay.
what? I'd love to stay longer, but the reality is I have a doctor's appointment and I've been trying to get into this doctor for 3 weeks.
Forever.
I can't miss this appointment. So I'm going to have to go.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, we saw how hard it was on them to film. And even Teresa said that or not Teresa, Leslie said that.
It's
She's
exhausting.
Like, well, at first I thought something's wrong with him. Like he's made his mind up and it's not me. And then she's like, but we had been filming so late.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
4 a.m.
She's like, and I was exhausted. She goes, and he did more than I did as far as filming.
Yeah.
She goes, so I was just like, you know what? He's probably just fucking ready to drop because he's so exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I can't imagine that they would have been able to film like that with that age group for 8 weeks. They would have died.
They would have been like, I go, you're putting us in bunk beds. Trust. I'm not doing this. No. And that's fair.
Yeah. It was good enough for me. I was
fine.
happy. I thought it turned out just fine. Whatever they did, whoever produces that show, God bless them. They're
And all
brilliant.
the complaints on Reddit and TikTok and social media, it's great.
It's
actually great. And a lot of these women
NBC's
are like,
this is amazing.
They're like, well, I am 62 years young and I find him to be just distasteful.
He's disgusting.
I would never. Oh my God. I would never put up with this garbage.
These women,
right.
that are in that age bracket, they're like
the ones that are like, and they're like, this is the first time watching, and I will never watch again.
Yeah. Oh, I stopped watching, and and he's just lustful. This is all lust. He's not. I'm like, he's 72.
Actually, you know what's
funny?
He's
not lustful.
Here's what was funny to me is when the fantasy suites came up, I'm like, I hope he has Viagra or something, because there is no way that he's sleeping with 2 women in a row.
Absolutely.
I know. And I know I'm making some generalizations. I know that some men are perfectly fine having intercourse twice in a row, but at 72. I mean, look, we're making some generalizations. But
no, we're not, because I know a lot of men in that age, and we've talked about it. And they're like, look, it's the energy that it requires, the physical energy that it requires. Yes, it's like working out. And when you're old, it's hard.
Well, I would imagine just physically it's exhausting.
That's what I'm saying.
And mentally. But anyway, I enjoyed it and I look forward to it. I did see that they are recruiting again.
For the Golden Bachelor?
For the Golden Bachelor, not Bachelorette though.
Oh.
And there has been some discussion about could they even do a Golden Bachelorette, because what kind of men are going to sign up for this thing?
That's what I was just thinking.
And I'm like, a lot of greasy bohunks, I think. That's what I think. A lot of retired men.
I think it would be harder.
I'm a retired sheriff from North Carolina, and I'm looking for love. I mean, I
don't know. Story I told you about the
vacation
lady
in New Jersey, and I don't know.
The story I told you about the lady on the last show, it was either last show or the last show, about that she went on a date from Tinder, and the guy was like 4'10". And he had a cleft palate.
Yes, we did discuss that on the show.
He was wearing a hat so
on
she
our own
couldn't see
podcast.
his face.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
ooh, I'll be all kinds of people.
Right? And I think women
will be like, immediately now.
Yeah.
We whittle that shit down in a week.
I think women would be like, you could give me 50 and I can't pick one. They're all, no.
If you gave me 20 men and I walked into a room, I'd be like, you know what? This was a bad idea. I can't do this. This feels very porn-like, and I don't like what I'm doing.
No.
Yeah.
It would be strange. I think it barely works with the women in the Golden Bachelor.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so they're gonna do it again. I can't wait to see what happens.
I hope it stays good. I hope it doesn't go bad. To where it's like, oh, it's such a letdown now.
I think the producers have learned some lessons.
Good.
And I think we're going to see an even better version.
They're gonna want to drum up some drama,
of course,
because they're gonna be like, the whole Kathy thing just wasn't enough.
Stop
talking.
Enough.
Zip it.
Just zip it. And it's like, for the rest of this poor woman's life on Earth, it will be.
Why couldn't she have looked as good as she's looked in these after shows?
Because she was tired, Stephanie. She was exhausted. She was 72.
Because she looks great in the live. She looks really good.
She's rested and she had a hydrofacial.
Right.
For God's sake, the poor lady. I mean, it's like, we told you guys, 15-hour days. It's like, I mean, can I get a coffee to save my life?
And can you not have long pauses with the camera on the side of me when I'm white as a ghost?
I told you what my
mouth is open.
God, that poor lady.
I'm agape. I'm like,
she was so tired.
I'll kill you.
Oh, my Lord. Anyway, yes, please bring it back. I mean, outside of all of the outrage, which is just faux, I mean, please bring it back. I loved it. I will watch it again.
Same.
And hopefully you like the regular Bachelor, and if you do, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
It's a really fun little thing to discuss. Anyway.
We'll see. Anyway,
thank you for listening to our series on the recap of the Golden Bachelor. Congratulations to Gary and Teresa. We wish you lots of happiness.
We might have to do one after the wedding.
We'll have to see.
Just so we can talk about what
we'll
happened.
See if Leslie comes to the wedding.
Oh God!
The hope is that she gets asked to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Well, that would be great.
That would be perfect for her.
I feel like she wasn't nearly as raw. Well, she's
still mad.
She's still mad, but at the same time, I kind of feel like however much time had passed from that episode to the filming until she's
calmed.
She had much calmed, and I almost feel like they didn't say it obviously, but I wonder how many men have come out of the woodwork and be like,
oh, so many
already. And she's like,
so
okay,
many.
You know what? It sucks that Gary didn't work out, but I have literally like hundreds.
And not only that, but they're all like in Minnesota. So she doesn't have to move away.
Thank you.
She's like right
her
there.
DMs are blowing up.
Oh, 100%. And I really wish her the best too. All of them, actually.
So let her find another little broken motorcycle rider that likes to go to bars and
dance.
That's
It'll
her
be
thing.
amazing. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, good luck, Leslie.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.